On this episode of Hit the Books Podcast, Emery's back!
Hello!
Both Nicks are now dead.
Aw, dang.
Stay tuned! Hello and welcome to another episode of Hit the Books Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Holcomb.
And I'm Emery Saunders.
And we're here to bring you all the nerdy news you need to know about this week.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you unfamiliar with the show, we discuss what we've been up to in the world of nerddom, what we've been reading, watching, listening to, playing, etc., etc. And then we go into our news segment and entertain you and update you with all the latest news. Then we award a prestigious, nay, life-changing award of cover of the week for your local comic book shops.
Please support your local comic book shops.
And then we end the show with a little funny ditty. Usually a mistake.
If you're nasty.
And if you are nasty, be sure to reach out to us with your lewd boy fan art
No.
at HitTheBooksVids@gmail.com. Please address directly to Emery,
This is why we can't have anything.
particularly if it's incriminating. Thank you.
No. This is the year of no simping. 2023.
Good luck.
God damn it.
Yes. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter at HTBVids, on YouTube, on Spotify, and Podbean, on Facebook at facebook.com/HitTheBooks.
Where you can find a podcast, you will find us.
And it's great. Yeah, we're all over the place today. I'm really tired. Really tired.
Been a lot of updates and upkeep.
Yeah. I'm getting the last episode up to you 2 weeks late, but no worries. I finished editing it last night. It's 4 hours long.
Sweet mercy.
I hope you enjoy it. Nick number 2 had a lot to say, and I enjoyed it.
Sure you did.
I think you will too. So definitely look out for that. And then this episode will hopefully, fingers crossed, baby assuming, I will get that out to you much sooner than 2 weeks later. But in the meantime, it's great to have you back, Emery. It's good to see you. Hope life is treating you well.
I'm back, bitches.
And of course, I've been seeing you every Monday.
That's right.
Since we have begun Babby's first D&D sesh.
Ooh. I mean, I gotta ask. As a person who's playing D&D for real for the first time.
Fucking nerd.
He finally gets to say that now. He's earned his wings.
One of us.
Indoctrination aside. As a player, and please do not butter me up at all, given that I am your DM, because it will not help you.
But will it hurt me? That's the important question.
Maybe. No, the dice decide your fate.
So you say.
I saw your rolls.
Yeah. I wonder who programmed them.
Hey.
I'm just saying I'm noticing a pattern
Hey.
with my rolls.
Look, I'm just saying.
There's a lot of single digits popping up.
Oh, like your bonus to your stats?
Yes!
Oh, okay. The possible need for a reworking of your stats aside, and all of the things that you've done so far in this game, with which you've been a part of for, 3 sessions now?
Yes. We had arrive and meet the party in the desert session. We had No, it must be 4 sessions because then we fought the random group in the desert
Yeah.
on the edge of town. Maybe that was the same episode.
Yeah, I think that might have been the same episode.
And then we shopped
And then
for
you shopped.
a live session.
Yep.
And then we shopped some more and did our stuff around town on the second one. And then we fought some vultures. And then then I revived those vultures in an attempt to ride them like a chocobo. And then we had to fight those vultures again.
You had an interesting idea.
Because this DM is pulling shenanigans and won't let the rule of cool just go.
Oh, okay.
And then
If
our
any
last session was the bandits. So that's 4. At least 4.
In my defense, these giant vultures that originally saw your group as food, when they attacked and subsequently tried to eat you, and then you killed them, and then you brought them back to life.
Only a little bit.
Only a little? Okay. Hypothetical question. And follow me on this one.
I choose not to.
You're gonna for this one. Let's say, for a moment, someone murdered you.
Mm-hmm.
Like in cold blood.
Mm-hmm.
You're dead, and whatever liminal space people can expect in their last moments or upon the moment of death, that is then interrupted only for you to see, when you wake up, the person who killed you.
They couldn't see me. I was on their back.
I swear to God.
I very clearly stated that the idea, just to provide context to all the fans out there.
Uh-huh.
So there's a storm on the horizon in the desert.
Yeah.
And, we don't want to get caught in it. We just almost died fighting these chickens. Because each one was critting us just randomly. And all of us were on our last legs. So I thought the best approach at that point would be for all 4 of us to mount one of the 4 vultures, conveniently spaced.
Conveniently.
And use my... what's it called? The cantrip? Something the dead.
No. Toll the Dead's the one that you use to attack.
That's the attack. What's the other one?
Spare the Dying.
Spare the Dying. That's it. So I use Spare the Dying to keep them alive, essentially. But then you made things
them.
More complicated.
I made things more complicated.
By insisting that they were still unconscious. So I said, okay, fine.
By insisting upon the rules.
I'll heal them. And then you're like, well, you're either going to have to heal them one by one and use up all your spells. or
you could use a more powerful spell to heal them all at once.
Exactly, which means they have more health than I want them to. Assuming my roll works out the way I expect it to with my luck. And I explained very clearly. Here is the intent, DM. You tell me if this should be pursued. And of course, the entire party agreed to it as well, so I can't be faulted. All right? I am not responsible for this.
I swear to God.
I very clearly stated that the intent was to awaken all of these vultures while we are all already mounted on their backs. They're quite large, they won't notice us, and their instinct in the face of a big desert storm will be to fly to safety, where we can also take shelter and, if need be, have a vulture dinner. So I was waiting for our kind DM to describe us healing these vultures, seeing the storm, and deciding to fly off on the horizon to their nests to safety from the storm. What happens? Go ahead and roll a dexterity check for me. Let's see if you could. How about?
You're
animal handling.
Yep, animal handling.
Yeah, so you had us roll for animal handling, which of course nobody's gonna pass. And then you had us roll for acrobatics and whatever else to see if we tried to land on our feet or if we tried to hold on for dear life. And of course, this guy, even when you succeed at holding on for dear life, he's like, no, you still gotta fight it while you're on its back instead of flying off into the sunset to safety. As I clearly described and illustrated for our DM chose not to allow such things. And so we all almost died again, trying to fight the chicken while our wizard was stuck riding on the back of one while it was clawing us to death. Yeah, it was fun. And then we killed them again, and we made some nice vulture dinner.
Lessons were learned that day.
Thankfully, I can purify the food, so
right.
no worries about food poisoning.
You were literally...
And everybody was very grateful for the experience they just gained. You're welcome.
We're doing milestone leveling. No experience was gained that day. They level when I say they do.
Boo. See, I told you. He's fixing the game against us. I call shenanigans.
My favorite word.
But yeah, it's been fun. It's definitely been a learning experience. We're using D&D Beyond for most of the sessions. We had one live session where one of our members wasn't there. I think he moved down to Florida, so that would happen. But other than that, you know, it was a little tedious at first. It does take forever to like get everything to work the way you want it to, and control everything and have the right key commands. And sometimes the things to roll don't generate, and then you gotta manually do it. And,
it is a little dependent on everyone's internet connection, for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. But I think it's also D&D Beyond, just the way it's set up.
I think it has less to do with D&D Beyond and more to do with the virtual tabletop that we use is Foundry, which is a wonderful system.
Oh, is that what? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm mixing them up.
Yeah. D&D Beyond is what you use for generating character sheets.
Okay. Yeah. I'm mixing them up.
Yeah.
That's why.
But Foundry, wonderful system. Love it to death. Like with a lot of VTTs, connection issues seem to be its bane. Or, more obviously, the clearest indicator that this game was meant to be played in person. That being said, given that most of us have other things going on that kind of preclude us from being able to go out every Monday night, the system's helped a lot with being able to facilitate this game and kind of capture everyone's imaginations.
Yeah, and there's no way that I would be able to do this as a live session every week. You know, I already struggle to do this show every week and find time for it with work and life and child and everything else that goes on.
Yeah, what's interesting is that you are experiencing D&D for the first time in a way that most D&D players haven't had to experience up until 2020 for obvious reasons. Like, the norm around the world was everybody is like, we're all going to try to find a time, and hopefully our schedules don't completely screw us.
Yeah.
Where we can get together every week in person. But it seems like that's no longer the norm anymore, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure there's, something lost there. like just the interpersonal relationships, and sometimes, we're using the Discord chat to, talk over it.
Right.
But the problem is we end up, accidentally most of the time, like talking over each other, or one person will be super quiet and one person will be obnoxiously loud. Just, you can't make sense of what's going on always. And it kind of meanders into.
Yeah, that's a very good point that you bring up. Like the talking over each other, the staying quiet to avoid talking over each other.
Mm-hmm.
That is an issue that I've
not
found.
Realizing if you're muted or not.
Right.
That happens a few times.
That's an issue that I've noticed as someone who's a player on the streaming show, The Natural Ones. Go check out Those Natural Ones at YouTube.
Of course, they're not on twitch.tv/Those Natural Ones live anymore.
That's right.
So you do have to go to YouTube, but you can still support them on Twitch if you have a Prime membership and you feel inclined to help them out a little bit, send a little money their way. You can go use that subscription on your twitch.tv account.
Please.
So please do if you have Amazon Prime and you're not using it for anything else. Why
help
not?
Us out.
Why not help us out? Throw $1 our way.
Yeah.
What's free. $1? It's free for you. You just got to click a little box and say okay.
Yeah. What's $1?
Only thing that sucks is you got to do it once a month. That's
true.
That's a Twitch problem.
That while it's convenient that you don't have to put down extra money if you have Prime, their stipulation is it's not an automatically renewed thing. You have to do it every month.
Yeah.
As a player for that show, I've found the thing that prevents us from kind of like hair like in my eyeball.
Well, while he's picking hairballs out of his eyeball, might be good to know. You might notice. We'll see how it sounds in the edit, but you might notice the sound quality has significantly improved. It certainly sounds like it on our end. We got some upgraded mics. We're still working out some of the kinks as far as the headphone monitoring, but hopefully you notice a difference on your end. So let us know in the comments.
Yeah, the thing that I think has gone a long way towards helping the flow of the show, it's still got a little bit of ways to go, but everyone having themselves on camera, specifically not so that they can be seen, but so that, well, actually, yes, so that they can be seen, and more importantly, so that they can see everyone else, because there is something to be said for being in a conversation where you can actually see the other person. There is a response time that normally we have when we're in person that tends to get lost when we are digital.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing that I think has become way more apparent the more people play online.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was some kind of, PC or console, like properly built game around this, where you did have like very equalized levels of volume, where you can very clearly, like, there's some kind of indication on the screen who's speaking, that you can't really do that with Foundry, it doesn't seem. So you have to use a separate app like Discord or something.
There is a way to do it through Foundry, but that particular question is probably one of the things that made Wizards of the Coast and the people behind Dungeons and Dragons try to come up with their own virtual tabletop for what probably would and might still be an exorbitant monthly price.
I mean, might be worth it. But you know what the real next step is, right?
What's the next step?
Spoiler for later in the show. VR.
Oh, shit. People playing in VR?
Because then you can see each other. You can see mouths moving. You can hear each other. You can locate who's speaking based on the reference in your headphones.
Okay, I will say this. If they somehow manage to do like a full-on VR D&D,
If they're not working on it, they need to be working on it immediately.
because my God.
It would enrich the experience so much. You could add animations to your pieces, all sorts of stuff.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying take it a step further. I'm saying go damn near Ready Player One, where your avatar is your D&D character.
Yeah, I mean, Skyrim VR exists.
This is pretty close.
That's as close as you can get.
Yeah, this is pretty close.
You can make it multiplayer.
I mean,
there you go. Yeah, I honestly think that something like that could make VR amazing.
Right?
Especially if you can take out the jankiness of the animations when people are controlling them. Because right now, if you're in any kind of multiplayer VR game, it looks super janky when you see like characters that aren't AI controlled. Like the hands are doing this, and like guys are twitching when they're trying to like pull their bow, and it's doing this. You know, that jankiness aspect has not left VR just yet. But if they could smooth that out and make like an immersive Skyrim-like world where you could just play around and make missions, and you could do something incredible there.
I don't know. That jankiness would make D&D real funny.
It probably would, but for those that want the immersion, you're kind of screwed.
I'm gonna draw my bow.
Yes. Yeah. If you're listening and not watching the YouTube channel, you should watch the YouTube channel for that moment and then like and subscribe.
Oh, please.
Thank you.
For the love of God, like and subscribe.
Shameless plug.
No shame in our game.
But yeah, ultimately, back to the point. I'm having a good time. It's becoming a lot easier now that I kind of understand like what I can get away with and what I can't. How the spell structure is working. I still get confused between like what I can use ritualistically and what I can use without using up a spell slot, and like
you sort of dived into the deep end of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuances that I need to get down.
Yeah.
So I can take it, because ultimately I'm just trying to take advantage of whatever I can and manipulate anything I can for my own benefit and entertainment. But
yeah, I will say there are things that you can do outside of the game that will make when you actually play the game 1,000 times more smooth. And anyone who has played a caster will tell you, like, the biggest way that you can smooth out your time as a player and also help your DM is to get acquainted with your spell list.
Yeah. And I've been pretty much using the same spells every session, so
I mean,
that makes it easier to memorize, I guess. I didn't understand. Some of the descriptions are a little like, I'm not sure what it's trying to tell me I can or can't do with this spell. Like the spiritual weapon, you like bailed me out and like, you should probably be using this. And I'm like, it doesn't sound that great reading the description, but I'll take your word for it. It turns out it's really useful, but I didn't understand that it just like stayed. I thought it was just like a one-time attack thing. I'm like, there's a lot of better attacks in this.
It's interesting seeing all of the things that like I've taken for granted as someone who's been playing this game for a while, and things that like through the eyes of a brand new player, how things could do with a bit more clarification.
Yeah. I think that, you know, it's great that there's a lot of nuance to everything, and it makes it more interesting to like become good at, whatever that means in D&D. But yeah, sometimes it's just so opaque that you can't really determine like
trying to make heads or tails
useful?
of it.
You know, is the DM gonna interpret this spell the way I think I need to interpret it, or is it being interpreted a totally different way, like mending? Yeah, like I thought, well, can I like close wounds with mending? And you're like, well, it's not really meant to be used like that. I'm like, but the description says. And then I used it to interrogate a person by smashing his fingers and mending them back together so I could smash them again. He never ran out of fingers.
He never ran out of fingers, but they did not get stitched back together right. Any DM will tell you that's not what mending's for. I'll tell you what, though, points for creativity.
Hey, that's what I'm going for.
You've been going for it, all right. It's like, if there's one thing that I think I've enjoyed as someone who's been running the game on and off for like the last, I want to say 6 to 7 years now. When it comes to old and new players, you can tell a new player right away because they will always find a way to come up with something you had never considered.
Hey, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. It's like through the eyes of a new player, I am seeing this game for the first time again.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean bring them back to life as potential mounts? What?
Yeah, I recorded the first sesh just so I have it for record, and I'll post it on the Hit the Books channel here.
Yeah.
Before too long, I just want to comb. It was like 3 or 4 hours, so I want to comb through it and just make sure there's nothing we need to not share with the world. And I should probably ask everybody's permission first before I post it, but I'm not going to tell you no. I'm kind of sad that I didn't record every session that we did over webcam, because some of the recent ones were pretty good, and I was pretty proud of the shenanigans I initiated in a lot of ways. I
will say, much to your credit, when you weren't engaging in straight up shenanigans, you did have interesting character moments.
Yeah, it's been fun. I gotta admit, if the tediousness of like getting the nuance of all the spells and getting Foundry to work the way you want it to and all that thing, struggles with Discord aside, all that stuff can be fixed or improved upon as time goes on, as I get more comfortable with it. The one thing that does kind of, I wouldn't say ruin it. It doesn't ruin it. But makes
something that could be improved.
Something that makes it less enjoyable for me overall is that we're always in this weird middle ground between like trying to immerse ourselves and just being silly. And I feel like sometimes we go way too far to the silly side, with particular, people, characters, in stuff that happens, stuff we try, and then it does kind of ruin the immersion, especially if you were trying to actively like be immersed in like,
it's like actually
participate,
have like a dramatic moment,
and then somebody comes in with something real stupid like just to try to make you laugh, and you're just like,
kind of
like, why did I even try? So that part kind of lessens the experience a little bit, and we all do it, so it's not like any one person or anything like that, or any one event that we dealt with, but I feel like it lessens the experience a little bit when not everybody's on the same page for how far we want to go into the silly realm and how far we want to go into the immersion realm.
Right.
Yeah.
That is actually something that is kind of a common misgiving that a lot of players have is tone. Tone is kind of a big deal because, just like you were saying, like if you're trying to have a serious moment and like one of the other players misreads that and like goes complete goof, kind of deflates the moment that you were trying to have.
Yeah. There's a lot of that with this
Yeah.
group. Again, I'm part of the problem. You know, I'm not innocent by any means, but it does kind of lessen the experience a little bit. Still enjoying it, still having a lot of fun. I really do. I didn't think I would look forward to Mondays as much as I am right now. You know, especially with the baby and everything. It's just like, oh, this is my one day for me. And I don't have to host. I don't have to set up the podcast. I don't have to edit. I don't have to, you know, come home from work at 6:30, 7 o'clock and then like have the baby all night. Like this is reserved just for me.
It's just a couple clicks away.
Immerse and talk with some friends and some new friends and of course an old friend and just have some fun. And I really do look forward to it every Monday. So thanks for inviting me.
Of course.
Thanks to Nick and everybody else in our group for letting me in. They were already 2 sessions in, I think, when I came in. So
pretty much, yeah.
And apparently the reason they wanted me is because they almost died fighting entry-level goblins. And they realized very quickly nobody was a healer and they needed a healer. So
a funny thing about the challenge rating system. The challenge rating system, by and large, works when you're low level. It's when you get past like level 7 or 8 that things start to... And you'll see this when you get to that level. It will spike a little bit heavily in the player's favor.
Okay. I hope that's true. We've had a lot of almost dead people.
That's true.
I've only seen one character have to roll for a save.
Death save?
Yeah, and then I healed them immediately after, so they were fine. But apparently, multiple people were rolling death saves in those first 2 sessions I was not part of.
Yeah, I did have to bring in an NPC to kind of bail them out.
Is that what's happening right now?
What's about to happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's still a lot of people we need to kill. So
there are still a lot of people.
I mean, we're kind of doing okay, but
okay. I left off for anyone who might catch wind of an episode that might be getting downloaded to the channel. When last they left off, they were fighting bandits in the desert, and the last thing that they heard before we ended the session was the sound of horse hooves beating against the sand. Will they be getting saved? Will they be getting captured? Will they be getting dead? He's gonna have to find out next time.
Funny thing about dead is when I'm around, you're only mostly dead. Not the same as full dead.
It's about as dead as he wants you to be. And mind you, you're only like a couple levels away from getting the Revivify spell, which instead of just turning the dead into like an animated corpse, actually just brings them back to life.
Well, that's convenient.
It does cost you about 300 gold pieces worth of diamond, though.
All right.
So you gotta find some diamonds.
Treat yourself.
Cleric, revive thyself.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it every Monday. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
What else have you been up to this week?
What else have I been up to? Recovering from watching the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well, that was part of the news, so why not break it out now? So,
yep, let's break it out.
In the news, I mentioned that Ant-Man 3 is receiving some very mediocre reviews from
mediocre
critical staff. And of course, we're all about mediocre on this show.
Yeah, we are.
At Hit the Books Podcast. But it's a little concerning. I have not seen it. So why don't you tell me what your opinion is?
Without spoiling anything... I'm just gonna come out and say it. the parallels to Spy Kids 3D is way more on point than it ever should have been.
Oh, no.
No,
no.
don't get me wrong. There are a couple of bright spots. That being Paul Rudd, mostly just being Paul Rudd.
Charming, handsome, delightful.
And then Jonathan Majors basically doing a remixed version of the same version of Kang that he played in the Loki TV series. Everything else in between those two things, real dumb.
Oh, that's sad.
Don't even get me started on how... Why is it that everyone, just with this movie, has now finally started to question the physics of someone going that small? Like, people just now started to ask, well, if he's smaller than an oxygen atom, what the fuck is he breathing?
Disney magic.
Disney magic. It's almost like in order to make it make sense, you're never supposed to take the helmet off.
Yeah. But then you can't see their face.
Fuck their face. The only face I need to see is Kang.
Yeah. That's why Batman always walks around without his cowl on in the movies. You gotta show off the suit, but you still gotta see the actor's face.
I mean, you might as well have done that for the Batman.
I really wish, speaking of Batman, we're just setting me off. All these movie producers think the actor who plays Batman is so fucking important to see. Like, you don't need to see his eyes. He doesn't need the makeup on around his eye sockets. You don't need to see his eyes darting around. Every rendition of Batman has the glowing white eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Just do that. Do the Spider-Man. Spider-Man does it. Why can't Batman do it? You already got his mouth. Is that expressive enough? I don't know. If he can't express emotion with his voice, he's probably not the actor you want.
You know what would have been a really cool villain to do that with? Scarecrow.
Yeah.
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 We didn't do that with him, did we?
No.
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 When did we do that? For all of 3 minutes with the Joker in The Dark Knight back in 2008.
It was pretty awesome, though.
It was amazing.
For the 10 seconds it lasted.
Yeah.
Used the NSA to scope out this building for the Joker.
Everyone's using Batman phones, right? Let's just use the Batman phone signal.
Yeah.
A bat signal.
It was real dumb. That was easily the dumbest part of the movie. That he just had this giant monitoring system that had sonar vision through everything in the city on this big screen with just multiple points of the city on it.
Cell phones do not work that way. Good night.
Yeah, and then we found out that the NSA exists. And we're like, oh.
Okay, found out.
Batman was onto something. Snowden came after.
We confirmed the NSA exists. We didn't find that out. We confirmed.
No such association is what it's referred to.
National security. We know what it is.
Who is Sam Fisher is apparently a part of.
As a super secret NSA agent.
That's canon.
Don't actually read the written backstory for Splinter Cell.
It's in the manual.
You know it's gonna be
the game.
You know it's gonna be stupid.
Confirmed. Very, very dumb. Splinter Cell fans, I'm sorry.
It's as someone who has served, you know, everything that they commit to film and video games is way off.
Also, Sam Fisher can use his big glowy eyes when he's trying to be invisible. Why can't Batman?
And also weirdly do the splits between two walls. Because that's a useful skill
Hey,
that wouldn't leave you wide open to being shot.
only if they see your dick.
I swear to God.
All right. They can't see you with your big glowy eyes.
Look, I'm just saying.
Your night vision.
Every one of those games that suspiciously was like Metal Gear Solid Light.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Even in the military, I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, we can kind of see with the moonlight pretty well. But instead, we're lighting up our entire face with this bright green light from our nods. It's like you can't see it from the outside, but you can see it reflecting off our face.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not the brightest thing in the world, but if you're close enough, you're wondering
If
why
your
there's
eyes
little green orbs bouncing through the woods and saying, fuck, fuck, fuck.
It's like if your eyes have adjusted to the dark.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
you can see.
There are like gaskets that like try to block it out, but it never works. It never blocks it all out.
Maybe no one actually goes after that because, you know, they've seen the movie The Predator.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh shit, not the dots.
This was kind of this is not classified stuff. I'm pretty sure they use it now, but we got to test out these it was a combination of infrared and heat vision.
Yeah.
And oh man, they were heavy as fuck. They were these big yellow things, and then you had a giant battery pack with a bunch of AA batteries in it, strapped to the back of your helmet.
This was early tech development.
Yeah, this was, I don't know, it was 2010, 2011, something like that. But it was pretty cool because you could change the intensity of the heat vision. So it'd be like a regular nod where you had the stereotypical green infrared, and then it had like a square over top of the like circle. And that squirrel, you could turn the intensity up and down. And if you turned it way up, it would work great, but your batteries would die in like 2 hours max. You know,
like operating on a very short time frame.
Yeah, they were really cool to use, and even though they were heavy, the fact that the battery pack was on the back, it kind of offset the balance of the weight. So
as opposed to just making you very like.
So even though even though it was heavy, it was actually kind of more comfortable than the regular nods because all the weight's in the front on the regular ones because the battery's inside the actual device. But side tangent. Yeah,
side tangent.
Yep. Back to Ant-Man.
Ant-Man Quantumania. I knew this movie was real dumb when at the end of the movie the title card it's not like the typical Ant-Man title card. It just says Ant-Man, and then you see like I didn't realize Quantumania had Ant-Man on the inside of the word.
Clever.
It's like if you take out the Q and then like the in the middle and then the ear, like the Q-amia, you're left with Ant-Man.
Nice.
They thought they were fucking clever.
That is a little clever.
That's you know what would have been more clever? A good movie.
Aww. So, what would you, let's say a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it? Most reviews are averaging either a 5 or a 6, which I was really shocked by, because usually the Disney darlings always get boosted a little bit, even from the big labels.
I'm going to give this a 4.
Wow. So you still hate Captain Marvel more than this movie?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I still have to see it. I'm way behind on my Marvel stuff now. I don't want. I think the whole reason I'm behind is because I don't want to watch She-Hulk, but I feel like I have to watch She-Hulk to be caught up.
You do not have to watch
and
She-Hulk.
Because I refuse to watch it and
She-Hulk
be in order, I have not seen Black Panther. I've not seen Ant-Man. Is there another one I missed?
You can very easily skip She-Hulk. She-Hulk is not relevant.
So you say.
They are literally, like, as it stands right now, doing everything they can to make sure everyone knows you can skip She-Hulk. She-Hulk... This would be like saying... this would be like saying the much lesser known show Wings is important viewing for watching the show Frasier. Like,
it's essential viewing.
No, it's not.
Wings is great.
Okay, Wings, while good, is not nearly as essential as Cheers.
Cheers is also great.
Cheers is also great.
It's insane how many good shows came out of that show. Even Beck. Beck was good.
It's ridiculous.
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
That show had no right to have so many spin-offs that were great.
That said,
yeah,
one of these shows is far more crucial to understanding who Frasier is than the other.
That's fair. That's fair. Need some tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
I will pay everything to see him come back as Beast.
I liked him. I thought he was good.
He was good as Beast. I want him again.
Yeah.
Nicholas Holden, you did your time.
Well, we might get our wish. We'll see.
Oh.
Huge jacked man came back. And they're already talking about perhaps Patrick Stewart making a cameo in this movie, this upcoming Deadpool movie.
We should probably transition from things that might be good to things that are definitely not gonna be.
Oh, no.
Yeah, going from Marvel over to the DC side.
Sir.
There is a movie that is hotly anticipated for some weird fucking reason that's going to be coming out soon. And by soon, I mean June.
Let's save that for the news.
I think it's time for the news.
What? You haven't done anything else?
Besides recovering from that movie and probably playing too much Dungeons and Dragons.
Definitely too much.
Definitely too much.
3 sessions is too much. A week. My God, man.
Boy.
What the fuck? It's hard enough to play in one. Look, you're hosting 2.
Yeah, look. People like it when I run games. People like it when I'm in games, and it's hard for me to say no.
Maybe, do you think you might have a secret god complex? Maybe you just like being in control and playing with these miserable little peasants' lives.
I might have agreed to that if it weren't for that show, Those Natural Ones. Watch Those Natural Ones every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. I really like being a player. Don't get me wrong. I'm fine with DMing. I have like 1,001 ideas for DMing. I'm basically DMing so that I can get people to play because playing D&D is a lot of fun. God Complex, I can't confirm or deny my relationship with how I feel about putting you all near death.
He clearly enjoys it.
Hey, shut up.
Well, I can finally say that I am done. I have deleted it off my hard drive with Horizon Zero Dawn / The Frozen Wilds DLC.
You finished it.
Finally.
Oh my God.
Literally last night.
That's a...
So I have been
That's
talking
a whole lot of game, my
I've
dude.
been talking about this game for so many episodes. It was my primary game when I was on paternity leave, when I was up with the baby all night. I just had the baby in one arm and was playing it in the other arm for hours. This game is massive. It's extremely good, especially for an old game, and it's aged very well. Despite its age, and I'm playing it on the PS5. It's a PS4 title, looks great, runs great.
Yeah.
Still some jankiness to it, as you would imagine in any RPG.
Well then, yeah.
Great storytelling, surprisingly intricate world building that I was not prepared for. There's a lot that you don't see in trailers and promos and coverage of it. That they hide from you for a reason, so you can.
It's surprising how much they kept out of the press for that game.
It's great. It is a great title, and the DLC, I was being a little harsh on it initially, so I'm like, yeah, there's it's a snowier version of the rest of the game. You're spending more time
went to the snow level.
Yeah, you're spending more time with a tribe that you barely have contact with in the main game.
Yeah.
It's fine. No, this thing is fucking huge. It's a little area, but it's super vertical. And they just keep throwing more missions and more side quests and more errands and more trials and challenges. And
of course, you wanted more game in your game.
I got a lot more game in my game. 30 hours more worth of game in my game.
More bang for your buck.
So speaking of bang for your buck, if you want bang for your buck and you have PlayStation Plus, the higher tiers, premium, and whatever the middle tier is, again, why even bother?
Yeah,
just get rid of that tier.
They're still working that out.
Yeah. You can get that game for free and play it right now for free, and that's what I did. Even though I own the title on disc, it's still wrapped in plastic from when I bought it originally. And just never got a chance to open it and play it. And then I ended up at a point where I could get it for free from PlayStation Plus. And you can get it in so many ways for free. It's extremely cheap on PC if you want to play the PC version. It is out. And now, as of this month, the sequel is available on the PlayStation Plus Premium.
Holy shit.
So you can download it and play it right now, the PS5 version, and... Fuck, man. I can't keep going. I need a break. Yeah. So I downloaded it just so I have it when I do go back to it, because I do love the world. I do love the character and the characters in the game, and I want more of it. Just not now. I'm so tired of fighting giant robot monsters and dinosaurs.
You had enough of Beast Wars for a minute.
Yeah, I'm tired.
The game beat you down.
It beat me down. I was by the end of Frozen Wilds, I enjoyed what it was doing. I liked the storytelling. It was thoughtful and creative and immersive, but
that's a whole lot of game.
It's so much game. But I will say the character portrayals and acting in this game is near flawless. It's one of the few games where every NPC that you have a significant conversation with has great animations, facial tracking. There's no jankiness to it. There's no overacting for the most part. Man. Surprisingly excellent acting with the number of characters you interact with. It's not like The Last of Us where you have a dozen characters that you interact with significantly throughout the game. It's I don't know, has to be close to 100 different individuals that had to do mocap and voice acting and all this stuff for this game, and they do an excellent job, and it works. So yeah,
incredible.
If you want an old, cheap, probably free game,
cheap is free,
to keep you busy for a long time and have a ton of fun with and have a new unique experience, and they do everything right. They do inclusivity right. They do storytelling right. They do character development right. It's just so good from top to bottom. I can't think of a real not nitpicky complaint that isn't just representative of all RPGs.
Yeah.
Yeah, go play it. Horizon Zero Dawn and the DLC Frozen Wilds. You won't regret it. Go play it, and you'll probably want to play the sequel after you take a break.
You know what? You mentioning that game, and that game being a whole lot of game, that actually does remind me of a game series that I finally gotten to the next chapter of. The Yakuza series. Also free on PlayStation Plus.
The new one just came out. Are you playing that one?
Like a
planning to?
Dragon Ishin did just come out. Not playing it yet. I will be getting it soon. Because, oh my god, this game series.
it's wild.
It's like, imagine all of the cool fucking characters that they came up with over the course of the regular Yakuza series. They just transplant all of those character model faces into, like, late 1700s, 1800s Japan. We're doing sword and gun at this point. All the videos that I've seen, oh my god, I want to play the game so bad.
It looks fun. The reviews seem pretty positive on it from what I've seen.
I'll tell you this, though. The games leading up to that, like, I'm on Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is funny because those games over in Japan are just called, instead of Yakuza, they're just called Like a Dragon. So that game would, in our state, kind of just be Like a Dragon, Like a Dragon.
Yeah, it's like calling it Mega Man Rockman.
Yes. Essentially.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. The crazy thing about Yakuza Like a Dragon, which I'm playing right now, is for 6 games. Technically 7 if you go back and play Yakuza 0, which is a prequel. For 6 games, you have been playing as one guy, and occasionally some other people as well. This is a character named Kazuma Kiryu, who has a nickname as the Dragon of Dojima. This is a gangster in a semi-silly world, semi-silly, semi-serious. I mean, as serious as doing, like, super-duper flame power moves can get while you're wearing a snazzy 3-piece suit.
Yeah, it's always felt like the earlier Saints Row games to me.
Kinda, yeah.
Before they went too crazy.
Yeah. Like, this one weirdly does everything it can to kind of straddle the line between, like, really dramatic and really slapsticky.
Yeah.
Somehow they managed to do it. This is a character whose story, I would say, after playing all of those games, in terms of, like, storytelling, this guy rivals Kratos. This guy rivals, like, I'm talking, like, his story is, like, some of the wildest storytelling I've ever seen in my life. And this is about, like, an ex-gang member basically trying to raise a child that's not his.
That's adorable.
It's adorable. It gets sad, especially at, like, during, like, number 3, where he's trying to raise not just this one girl that kind of fell into his lap, but a bunch of kids at an orphanage. But then there's a part, like a number, like, 4 or 5, where he makes an agreement with a talent agency to basically bow out and leave the orphanage so that the girl that he's been raising this whole time can have a shot at, like, superstardom in Japan.
The concept is already bonkers.
Okay, most of this game is a Japanese drama. Like a very, like, straddling the line between goofy and super serious Japanese drama. The other part of this game is you running around whatever city you're in and casually beating the fuck out of anyone who stands in your fucking way.
Sounds like America to me.
And my favorite is when any of these characters make an attempt to actually speak English. I got so used to these games being subtitle only, like completely voiced in Japanese, that when I finally got to play games like Judgment and Yakuza Like a Dragon, which are both set in like the same city,
Mm-hmm.
when I heard the English, I was like, ugh, no.
Yeah, so you're definitely a subs, not dubs
Absolutely.
type of player / watcher.
I prefer subs over dubs. If for no other reason than the first like 6 games indoctrinated me into like listening to them only in Japanese. But I gotta tell you, if there was any game series that I could recommend to anyone, it would be the Yakuza series.
There you have it. 2 great recommendations from Hit the Books podcast. But other than that, I did watch a comedy special on Netflix. A little late to the party. It came out in 2022. I've been watching a handful of comedy specials basically once a week or twice a week while I'm handling baby and not able to go to bed just yet. But I watched Neil Brennan's Blocks special. Neil Brennan, a great comic in and of his own, but also known for being a co-writer on Chappelle's Show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Watched this special, was not expecting what I saw in that special. Really funny, like genuinely funny, but surprisingly heartfelt. I was not prepared for feels when I was just trying to put on a dumb comedy special to turn my brain off and laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
And the ending in particular was one of the most creative endings I've seen on a comedy special ever.
Kind of took you by surprise, didn't
It
it?
really did. And yeah, it was great. I highly recommend Neil Brennan's Blocks special. If you catch that on Netflix, definitely take advantage of that. If you have, it's not even that long. I think it's like just shy of an hour, like maybe 52 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty typical for a special.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. But yeah, that's basically all I had time for since last episode. I mean, like I said, I've watched some other comedy specials that they weren't particularly memorable. I can't even hardly remember which ones I watched. And yeah, it's basically been it. Been shopping around for a Tesla. I use Tesla, but unfortunately, I have to wait for the weekend to get a chance to go test drive it and see if there's any issues with it. And sure enough, they sell right before the weekend every week.
Of course.
I'm like, fuck, ruined my plans. I did look at a 2016 Model S that was for sale for like $28,000 or something like that. But when I checked it out, there's some concerns on the suspension. The cruise control wasn't working anymore. And it looked like there had probably been some water damage in the back seats, so I suspect there was a leak in the roof somewhere.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, not for me. As nice as it was otherwise, but
like how much more expensive is like a used electric car, would you say?
it just depends on what you're
looking
looking
for.
at. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a used electric car for $7,000, but it's probably going to be relatively short range, like
Yeah.
100 miles, somewhere in that range. If it's certain brands of EV, you got to worry about battery degradation because
Right.
Tesla never had this problem, but a lot of the early EV makers and some still don't have liquid thermal management on the batteries.
Oh shit.
Which is, it's fine, but it hurts your efficiency significantly by not having thermal management. It definitely hurts your charging times if you're trying to use like a supercharger or anything, DC direct charger. And it makes it far more likely that your battery's going to degrade because it's only relying on fans to cool it down, and it probably doesn't have any kind of system to heat it up for preparing for a charge and stuff like that. The one that comes to mind immediately is the Nissan Leaf. You can get a Nissan Leaf really affordable on the market, single thousands up to low teens.
Yeah.
And it'll have fairly good range. It'll have a lot of nice features. But the problem is they still do not have thermal management on the Leafs. And the Leafs also have the old outdated CHAdeMO port. So if you want to use any kind of standardized fast charger, you have to get an adapter for the CHAdeMO to the modern standard in the US. So there's a lot of disadvantages to the Nissan Leaf, it's ironic that they still don't have the basic features of even the early electric cars on their Nissan Leaf, because they're otherwise pretty great cars, especially for the price. And Nissan has another EV called the Aria, which is new this year.
Oh.
That has all the modern features. And so if you're already doing it, why didn't you apply it in some model year to your Nissan Leaf, which is your flagship EV for the past decade?
Right.
Yeah, just doesn't make sense. Chevy's kind of the same way. They have a bunch of new EVs coming out this year, including the electric Silverado, the electric Blazer, the electric Equinox, and supposedly, we'll see, but they're supposed to start in like the $30,000 range, which is absolutely where we need to start getting with EVs to make new EVs viable for the mass market, not just, enthusiasts and
the rich,
wealthy people. Yeah. So that's great to see if they do achieve those price points. But the problem is they're still selling the Bolt and the Spark.
Ooh.
And the Bolt EUV, which is just a slightly bigger Bolt.
Jesus.
And they're still using the old battery technology in them. They're still using super, painfully slow charging speeds on their fast charging, I say in quotes, port. They still have issues with their thermal management. They have thermal management, but they're just notorious for having issues. So even though you can get a Bolt really cheap and really nice, and you'll probably be fine and be happy with it, the likelihood that you're going to get frustrated with it at some point is pretty high. So it's just a mixed bag. Yeah, I mean, you can really find some really cool stuff. I'm going for a very specific thing. I want an all-wheel drive because we live in Ohio, and we have a lot of snow and ice in Ohio. So I want to be able to handle that. And unfortunately for Teslas specifically, they only have rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. They don't have front-wheel drive. Now, there are other EVs that have front-wheel drive options that are also affordable on the used market. One is the Kia Niro, which is actually a really, really cool EV if you can find, an older used ones, like a 2019, 2020 or something like that. The problem with them is that they do have a reputation for having the motor bearings fail. Now, the good thing about Kia is they give you a ridiculously long warranty because they're known for being cheap, cheap vehicles. So they'll at least replace it for you for most of the life of the vehicle. But other than that, really cool vehicle. There's the Hyundai Kona, which is the parent company of Kia, is Hyundai.
Yep.
It's basically the same type of vehicle, kind of a small crossover SUV, only slightly bigger than like a hatchback. It also has similar benefits, has surprisingly good range, especially for when it came out. Front-wheel drive only, so you do have the benefit of the front-wheel drive. The downside to both of them is that they're just slow to charge, and they're fairly small. You know, if you're looking for an SUV size something, you don't want to go to that. You want to go to like a Model Y, or if you're really wealthy, like an R1S, the Rivian R1S, or might want to wait for the upcoming, Chevy Blazer and Equinox, and Volkswagen has their ID4, which is really popular and was really popular up until recently. And now there's a bunch of extra incentives as long as it's American made. And we'll see what happens with the battery rules in March, because nobody's going to be able to make the battery requirements for the new tax benefit.
Ooh.
They suspended it till March while they figure out the parameters, because they realized, we wrote this into... Basically, the parameters are you have to build your EV in North America, which is great for generating a lot of new factories, which we're seeing everywhere, including Ohio. We have multiple factories opening in Ohio for the new EV business that's growing significantly. And because of this bill in particular, because everybody knew it was coming, the weird thing is that in the parameters of the bill, every year, an increasing percentage of the battery materials have to be sourced from either North America or from allied trade nations. Right now, most battery components come from Russia and China and the Congo, for if you're talking about cobalt. So,
which they themselves, like most of the stuff that they end up mining, usually ends up going to either Russia or China.
Yeah, for refinement. So that's changing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen overnight. It takes years to build new mines. Australia has a huge lithium mines. So if you get your lithium from Australia, you're good to go. But Australia can't supply the amount we need for the whole world to have EVs. And then you have
it's kind of a recent development for them, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's a bunch of other chemistries that kind of negate those problems to an extent. There's the modern Tesla batteries they're coming out with that have better lifetime. They can't carry as much a charge as a stereotypical lithium ion battery, but they are much safer. You can charge them fully. In fact, they recommend you charge them fully, whereas a lithium ion, you're only supposed to charge it fully for like a really long road trip because it degrades the battery faster.
Yeah.
So most people cap it at like 80% and just don't charge it above 80% unless they absolutely need to. With the new LFP batteries, which are lithium iron phosphorus batteries, it's a much safer chemistry, much cheaper chemistry, and you don't need as much, negatively sourced materials such as cobalt and nickel.
Right.
Nickel comes from Russia primarily. Cobalt comes from Congo primarily. But you still need lithium. And then there's other technologies that are coming out. They're coming on the horizon very quickly. There's aluminum batteries that use aluminum instead of copper. And there's sodium batteries on the horizon. It's if you look at the chemistry table, you can see that sodium and lithium are right
pretty
above
close,
and below each other because they're the same type of chemical element in terms of their properties. Sodium's way easier to get. It's literally in the ocean. It's on your table at dinner every night. Much safer. Does not have the thermal runaway that lithium has because it's not as energetic. But the downside is per weight, you're not getting as much energy per weight as you would with lithium because lithium is much more excitable.
Right.
Which is part of the reason why there's the concerns with thermal runaway with lithium, where you have to insulate the batteries and the packs. You have to have thermal management and all these things, which obviously it's been proven. It works great. They're even safer than internal combustion cars, which are literally filled with flammable, explosive gas. Pressurized gas at that. So
explosion is how you move forward.
Yeah. So looking forward to it. So the just to give you the context of why I'm looking at a used car right now, used Tesla in particular, is because I've wanted to get an EV for a long time, wanted to get away from fossil fuels for multiple reasons. There's the carbon monoxide factor coming out your tailpipe. There's the pollution factor. There's the wear on your brakes. The depreciation is much greater on a combustion car than your typical EV. And generally, they're just cool. And I think in probably 10, 15 years, unless it's like a specialized combustion engine car, like a big diesel truck for farming or something like that,
Yeah.
most internal combustion cars probably will be worthless. Nobody will want one.
Basically phased out.
Or,
Yeah.
unless it's like a sports car. Like, why would you want this loud, clunky, complicated machine where the transmission goes out? You need new spark plugs all the time. You need oil changes all the time. You got to get specific types of gasoline. The prices are going crazy.
Yeah.
And your industry is held hostage by Saudi Arabia and Venezuela and all these oil-rich countries.
Yeah. If there was one thing that would be both beneficial, at least to us here in America, but would also probably shock some of the people that we're in bed with currently.
I see what you said. I see what you did there. Shock.
Yeah. It would be forming yet another level of energy independence.
Yeah.
If we can power our cars independent of the gas and oil companies, we will have made them obsolete.
Or at the very least, significantly reduce their influence.
Significantly.
Yeah, not only, in terms of finance and political intrigue, but also just safety. Like, the health. Like, think about how much brake dust you breathe in every year. An electric car, it regenerates electricity instead of using your brake pads 90% of the time. It's really only when you got to stop immediately because of somebody pulling in front of you or something like that your disc brakes actually engage. Most of the time, most people are using the regenerative braking on the motor.
Holy shit.
And guess what? None of that brake dust and none of that rotor dust is getting thrown into the air. And it's funny because a common problem with EVs is that the brake calipers rust out because they don't get used. Exactly. They get used so infrequently that the fluid doesn't get a chance to lubricate the system. And a normal car, when rotors rust up or brake pads rust up, they grind against each other and the rust gets shed off.
Right.
That you don't use the brake pads that often, so they almost never get shed off.
Yeah.
And so it's a common issue if you don't maintain them.
Yeah, I think the way that technology has been implemented and will continue to implement, I could easily see like a brake system much more akin to like a magnetic train, like somewhere in the future where it's just magnetization slowly like bringing these tires to like a stop.
Yeah, that's
as opposed to the concept of like soft and hard metal going skrrr.
Yeah, you're actually closer to the current reality than you think. Because that's how a lot of the Magna motors work, which is most EV are at least employing one Magna motor in their EV. Magna's a brand, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They use a stationary magnet basically to help generate that electricity when you're braking. And you can dial it in so it's like almost like slamming on the brakes if you really want to.
Oh boy.
Not all cars let you do that. Some like mandate that you still have like the creep that combustion cars have to keep the drive system going. But yeah, it's cool. It's awesome. I've been test driving a bunch of EVs, researching a bunch of stuff. Really, really cool and exciting stuff. Hyundai Kia surprisingly have some like great ideas that they're using in their Ioniq 5 and their Ioniq 6, which is coming out this year, which is the sedan version, and the EV6, which are their kind of like flagship new hot EVs. They use an 800 volt architecture instead of the 400 volt architecture that most EVs use, including Teslas. And the benefit of that is that you don't need as much wire in the car. You don't need that robust, heavy copper throughout the entire car and the conduits and stuff, because the voltage reduces the amperage that you need to use to drive electricity into the battery. Voltage is just like basically the speed of the flow, whereas the amperage is the intensity, like the volume of, if you think about it like a liquid, that's kind of how you can envision it. So a lot of the heat that you get when you're trying to charge your vehicle and you're trying to use a fast charger and it's driving it as fast as it can, the reason we have to use these big thick cables on the chargers is because they're pushing so much amperage that it's generating a lot of that excess wasted heat.
Yeah.
You go to a higher voltage, you don't really have that problem. The only factor is you need a more robust transference system, because everything runs off 12 volt. So basically, in an electric car, you still have a 12 volt battery, just like you do in your combustion car. In your combustion car, the 12 volt battery helps drive your starter, and then the alternator keeps it charged so you can use the radio and everything else in the car, the dashboard, whatever. It's used for basically the same purpose in an electric car, except you don't have a starter. So you don't need an alternator to power it up, because the car battery, the main battery, already has all that energy you need to keep that 12 volt battery charged, and then the 12 volt battery keeps all the components working. Because your internal components, if they take 800 volts or 400 volts, you're gonna fry them.
Oh my god!
So they got to use a lower voltage, and so it converts the 800 volt pack or 400 volt pack, whatever, into that 12 volt energy to keep that battery charged. And now they're finally figuring out, like, oh, if you use lithium batteries for the 12 volt, you don't have to worry about them dying like a lead acid battery, which is one of the big problems of early EVs, is they all use lead acid batteries, just like our internal combustion cars, because that was basically all that was available on the market for 12 volt batteries. But the thing is, just like every internal combustion car, you got to replace that battery like every 2 to 3 years, because it eventually degrades and dies. Well, you put a lithium battery in there, it's going to survive just as long as your main battery, and it's going to have a lot better charge and a lot better durability. So yeah, it's exciting. Like the speed of this technology getting better and better is just incredible. Every year there's something new and incredible coming out in the world of EVs, and it's just at a breakneck pace. It really is awesome to see, and the prices are coming down. Tesla just reduced a bunch of the prices of all their brand new models. And some people are pissed because they just bought their Teslas brand new, and now their Teslas are worth $6,000 less than they were a month ago.
Damn.
So the people that just got Teslas prior to that price change are super pissed. But everybody else is like, hell yeah, because now the used Teslas are getting super affordable now, like really good quality, like 2018, 2019, 2020 Model 3s, Model Ys. The Model S's are notorious for some build quality issues, especially the earlier ones. But if you get like one of the newer ones, like 2016, 2017, like, you're gonna have a great car. Like the car was $120,000 brand new. Now you can get it for $25,000 depending on where you get it. Which is amazing. So it's awesome. It's really exciting. It's nice that these things are finally like within grasp, and they're not all goofy looking and tiny little square cars. Like the Fiats and the Minis, and like they're actually functional, useful vehicles, fun to drive, spacious. Like, we're there. We're finally there. You look at like the F-150 Lightning, and you're like, damn. Like, if I saw that on the road, I would just think that's a regular F-150.
Yeah.
Until I saw the big light bar saying Lightning, Like, I would have no idea otherwise if I didn't know what that was. And it's just incredible. So,
Elon, where the fuck is my Cybertruck?
It's like that. Have you seen that Harley episode where he Scarecrow uncovers Bruce Wayne? Like, where's my goddamn electric car, Bruce? I love that. It's so good. Yeah, highly recommend EVs if you have the ability to afford one, and you have high. I will say this: you need somewhere to plug it in at home, because that's the way to make it cost effective. If you're going to fast chargers every time, it's going to be tedious. It's just like going to a gas station. Yeah, you might as well just stick with your ICE. But if you have even the basic 3-prong 110 outlet, just the standard one that you see in all your houses, somewhere in your garage.
Hook it up.
Hook it up. Yeah, I mean, unless you're driving 200 miles every day, you probably don't need anything faster than that, because you'll get 40-ish miles charging it overnight.
Right.
And most people, like, I drive 25 miles every day. So plugging it in overnight, no problem.
Yeah.
So cool stuff. All right, we should probably get into the news. We're way late. So
A little bit.
first up, movie and TV. We talked about Ant-Man 3, so we can skip over that. Next up on the news, as you were alluding to,
Mm-hmm.
we got
Speaking of things that are lightning powered.
I don't want this one. I don't like this.
You don't want this one?
I don't want it.
You don't want Ezra Miller?
No.
You don't want two Ezra Millers?
No. I also
You
don't
don't
want
want-
the Supergirl that looks like Ezra Miller. Yeah,
Do you like Batman?
I do.
Do you like old Batman?
Yeah.
Do you like Batman looking like he's wearing a bra?
Hot. Only if it's a bat bra.
Yeah, if you like your classic blue and gray Batman wearing what looks like a chest harness of some kind, which I'm going to assume is vaguely time related. This movie, simply called The Flash and not Batman Flashpoint like I wish it was. It's coming out this June. The one thing that I'm looking forward to least in the month of my birth.
Yeah, I'm frustrated with it. I understand why they have to get it out. I understand why people internally are excited about it. It's nice to see Michael Keaton back again wearing the classic 1989 cowl. It's cool to
Where
see
he still can't move his head.
he still can't move his head. We got the trailer during the Super Bowl, and then we got the full extended trailer if you went and looked it up on their website. I will say the trailer I saw during the Super Bowl had me a lot more excited than the trailer I saw extended that showed the two Ezras talking to each other. The last thing I want is Ezra Miller talking to another Ezra Miller. I don't understand. He's not even a good actor. So
Thank you, DC.
I just don't understand why they took this route. It's just the Supergirl, the costume looks cool, character looks fine, but again, looks exactly like Ezra Miller. And just reminds me that Ezra Miller's in this movie and I have to watch Ezra Miller.
In case you weren't aware who stars in the movie The Flash,
yeah, it's
starring Ezra Miller.
the man who kidnapped people, who broke into a house and stole thousands of dollars worth of expensive wine, who was trying to create his Native American Messiah sex cult. What else was he doing? Grooming.
Yeah, he's grooming what I'm assuming were teenagers inside of a compound in which it was reported a child was eating a bullet.
Yeah.
Or like literally, like there was a loose bullet around and a infant got it in its mouth.
And he had menacing charges for threatening people with guns. He had assault charges for slapping some woman in Hawaii, I think it was. He's just the worst. And
he's an actual villain?
It's yes. Yes, he should be the Reverse Flash. So we can watch him die. He's just the worst. And it sucks that DC was so invested in him and just did not have the common sense to not make a movie starring him. This could have been a great opportunity. We'll see. I'm desperately hoping that James Gunn knows I will not make this guy the Flash going forward, no matter what we do with this reset. After this movie, he is not the Flash any longer. Please do not fuck this up. We talked on the last episode about his big plans for the future. I'm really excited about almost all of them. don't bring this Flash to the next party. Please. I'm begging you. Thank you. Okay.
Bet you he does.
Fuck it. I swear, he's got to. Ezra Miller has to have some significant, horrifying dirt on the producers and executives at Warner Brothers Discovery. He has to. I don't understand any other possibility that would allow him to keep his job where Amber Heard didn't for putting a turd on Johnny Depp's bed. Like, what he has done is significantly worse than what Amber Heard has done.
You guys are going crazy over at DC.
What the fuck are you doing?
And we got rid of Henry Cavill?
Yes!
On purpose?
The most honorable of all of these people. Yeah, it just... I don't understand. So, I can't wait for this 2005 Superman... Or 2025, I should say, Superman movie to kick off this new universe, because I'm so ready. I want Shazam, too, and you can skip Aquaman. We don't need him. Don't need your re-edits.
Oh, speaking of Aquaman... Test screenings have commenced, and the verdict is the movie's bad.
Shocker. Because the first one was so good. And then we had reshoots and edited out Amber Heard. Yeah.
Okay, in defense of the first one, $1 billion.
China. Yeah, I am impressed that James Gunn has the sense to consider bringing him back as Lobo, though, for the next phase, because that is who he should have been from the beginning. He looks like Lobo. He acts like Lobo. He should be Lobo.
See, every time you're gonna bring up James Gunn.
Oh no, here we go.
There's don't get me wrong.
Nearly every celebrity you liked as a child is on the Epstein list. Every single one. I get it.
Not all of them.
Almost all of them.
Not all of them.
There was a stupid long list.
Okay, yeah, it was stupid long. Sure.
Oprah is on the list. Oprah.
Okay, Oprah, I believe.
That's how she stays youthful.
There's a reason she's the template for Amanda Waller.
Damn. Yeah, I get it. There's some sketchiness, and then the whole reason he got fired from Disney originally,
because some tweets surfaced,
because he had some kind of gross jokes about pedophilia that were questionable.
Okay,
but
we're gonna go with that.
But he's innocent until proven guilty.
Right, he hasn't been taken to court yet.
No one has accused him of anything
yet.
So until I know otherwise, I am excited for his version of the DCU, because he has done nothing but good things in his films so far.
That might not be the only thing coming 2025.
Stop it! Don't jinx this. I need this. Don't fuck this up for me, James.
I'm sure Peter Safran can handle it all on his own.
Peter Safran.
If it comes to that.
Safran on the list too?
I don't know. I haven't
checked surprised.
I haven't checked it.
Show me the flight logs. Need to know now.
Ezra Miller, as much as I don't want to see a movie with you in it or two of you in it, I will pay everything to hear the dirt that you have on the execs in DC. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'll join your commune. Just let me in. I want to know.
Just drop the deets.
Yeah.
Drop the deets. We'll do it exclusive.
Swear, I won't expose them.
Your secrets will be safe with us.
All right. Let's move on to the last news item of the movie and TV section. James Gunn also took to his Instagram stories to respond to the results of the, quote, face-off, which is a poll that IGN did, where they asked, other than the ones that have been confirmed and announced, what characters would you like to see most in the upcoming new DCU? Dick Grayson took the number 1 spot. Nightwing, of course, your boy, your homie.
Your boy who has had 4 seasons of a show called Titans.
We don't talk about Titans.
We don't talk about
we
Titans?
don't talk about Titans.
We don't talk about Brenton Twaits?
Tweets.
Tweets.
Tweets. I can't tweet.
Yeah, you're going to be tweeting.
Twite like a toggle. Following him were Martian Manhunter, Lobo, Brainiac, Deathstroke, Jason Todd / Robin Red Hood,
The other Robin,
Zatanna, the Court of Owls, Mr. Freeze, and John Constantine. To
Hashtag save Constantine.
And they're saving the wrong Constantine. Again, doing cocaine comics. Of course, they made these decisions before James Gunn came back to run the show, but
we are seeing basically things that may or may not have been talked about or planned like 3 years ago finally come up.
But they need to go away. You haven't started filming yet. It's not too late.
There needs to be some sort of...
We don't need Keanu Reeves return as Constantine.
Okay, yeah, we definitely don't need that.
Stop.
DC, you could definitely benefit from some sort of financial agility where you are able to make decisions that make sense or correct decisions that are clearly leading you down a path that you can see in real time is not the one you want to go on.
Yeah. To this poll, James Gunn took to Instagram and responded that, will 5 do? So he basically confirmed that at least 5 of these characters will be involved in the first phase of the new DCU. Just extrapolating on that, I'm hoping he's not including Keanu Reeves, John Constantine in that equation.
How much do you want to bet he's going to snub Nightwing?
He's probably going to snub my Nightwing. However, I do have hope for Nightwing because one of the movies announced was Batman Brave and the Bold, and it's going to be based on the Grant Morrison Batman and Robin with Damian Wayne. And we all know Damian Wayne is actually really close with Dick Grayson, who was, for a period of time, his Batman.
Your hopes are so high right now.
And I have to think about this for years because it's not even going to start until 2025. Mid-year 2025.
Mid-year 2025 is when you'll get actual details of that movie that are probably going to completely exclude Nightwing.
Don't do it! I have faith because right now they're kind of making Nightwing the center of everything because his books are the only ones selling other than Batman right now. So
if I had a nickel for every time a film studio company followed what the comics were doing, I might have 2 nickels.
Yeah,
which is
that's fair.
Not a whole lot, but it's still weird that it happened twice.
Of the other characters, I would extrapolate that Lobo is definitely happening because they've already openly talked about having Jason Momoa take over as Lobo in the new iteration. Court of Owls has been hinted at several times, so I would not be surprised if Court of Owls is included in that, so that makes 2.
Probably have to downplay the freaky deaky sex cult thing that they did in Harley Quinn.
Yeah. It's questionable. Jason Todd, Dick Grayson,
that's all.
I'm hoping
that's already 2 members of the Bat family.
I would like to see Dick Grayson just for the context for Damian, but I'm not hopeful. John Constantine I think is a no-brainer, especially if you do like some kind of Justice League Dark iteration, which I think was mentioned among the new plans. They're definitely doing a Swamp Thing. So I would think that
Hopefully they get it right this time.
I would think that John Constantine has to be involved in that somehow. If Zatanna, maybe, but I feel like the locks are John Constantine, Lobo, and the Court of Owls. Everything else, maybe. You might get Brainiac in the new Superman movie. Maybe. But I think everybody else is kind of a toss-up. I really hope Nightwing is included in there, but we'll see. But it's fun to speculate in the meantime. We got years to speculate, but I'm excited to see where this all goes.
It's a whole lot of Batman characters.
Yeah. Did you see the full listing of what they're planning for the first phase of this new DCU?
I don't need to look at things to falsely get my hopes up.
Well, James Gunn announced them. Said this is what we're doing.
Oh, that list.
Yeah.
His timeline that he's basically kind of laying out.
Yeah, so there's going to be, just for anybody in the audience that isn't aware, there's going to be the mainline new DCU that's starting in summer of 2025 with the new Superman film.
Yeah.
It's going to be based on Grant Morrison's Superman run, All-Star Superman. And then
already starting at the end. Fucking all right. God.
Maybe it's just in tone, but it sounds like they're not going to bother with origins, especially if they're talking about Damian in the Batman movie. So,
in tone, it's going to be like All-Star Superman. The one where he had 12 things that he wanted to do before he died. The one where one of the 12 things that he did was, I'm going to get into an arm wrestling match with Samson and Hercules.
Grant Morrison.
God!
Shit's about to get wild.
Oh my God. It's like, just give me the moment where they try to measure his strength and give me the quintillion tons, and let's just settle it at
the
that.
The press machine.
This just the one hand, just
the world presser.
How they would even conceive of a device that can give that much pressure, the world will never know.
I was excited for a lot of things. I mean, they're basically using the Wildstorm universe for one of the films, which is great. I love the Wildstorm.
Don't you dare get your hopes up for Grifter. I'm going to tell you right now.
Give me Grifter. Give him to me. He is the easiest costume design imaginable. He ties
a jacket and a bandana.
He ties a bandana with eyes drawn on them to his face. That's all you need. I'm excited for it. And then there's the Green Lanterns TV show, which is going to be based on Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and it's going to be basically a grounded,
the only two lanterns
story
that ever exist.
Someone's just a little salty.
You goddamn right, I'm salty.
A little salty over here because Kyle Rayner hasn't been mentioned.
Basic.
You're gonna get Guy Gardner before you get Kyle Rayner.
God damn
it! You'll get Jessica Cruz. I would really love it if they did like a White Lanterns New 52 style storyline for Kyle Rayner.
You gotta start him off green first.
Well, they're obviously going into an everybody's already established type of world, so. I can imagine while Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart are yucking it up on Earth, he can be out doing his thing with Larfleeze.
God damn it. Half the point of him being a White Lantern was the journey that he had to get there, which was mastering all the colors.
Yeah. It'll be great.
Let him be green.
There's already like 6 other green ones.
You'll
be fine.
There's already an entire planet of green ones. They could do with one more.
You mean entire planet of green one?
Son of a bitch.
Yes.
Earth has 6.
Yes, there is a planet that is a Green Lantern. That is canon.
Yeah. What if Ego, the living planet, was a good guy
and wore a ring
and was a ring?
All right, we got to move on. to the video game section of the show. Of course, as a reminder, I put time codes in the description on the YouTube channel. So if you're watching the show on the YouTube channel and you're not particularly interested in one segment, you can always jump to whichever segment you are interested in. So hopefully that is convenient for you. And please let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to do for your convenience while watching the show. Thank you. All right, video games. Sony had a State of Play event, I think 2 days ago, yesterday, very recently. We got another trailer for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. There are a few concerns. It will be always online, even though it's a single-player game, which is real dumb.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a battle pass, but it will be a cosmetic-based battle pass, so it's probably just costume swaps and stuff like that. And on the positive side, we saw cool looks at Lex Luthor in this game and Wonder Woman at the very end of the trailer. So that was cool to see. Did you see the trailer? Have any thoughts on it?
I did, and honestly, I gotta say I'm disappointed.
We'll see. I have faith in the main studio, which is the one making this game, as opposed to Gotham Knights, that they can make a really fun, seamless experience. But there's a lot of video game tropes, like clearly big purple balloon weak spots.
That is entirely the reason why I was turned off by this game.
Yep, damaged sponges everywhere.
I had so much high hopes that this was going to be some fucking wild, let's send them on a bunch of missions around the city of Metropolis, since we can't manage to make a fucking Superman game. Let's just throw the fucking Suicide Squad in there and have them kill the entire fucking Justice League. When you release a brand new, on top of all of the other trailers that you've released, and the primary thing that sticks out is we're doing Shoot the Purple?
Yes.
You mean to tell me?
Sure, the big purple orb on the big gun.
All of this is basically being reduced to a big old fancy Shoot the Purple.
Yeah. I will say, at least for the gameplay, I feel the same way. Like, like that's a little disappointing. I thought the gameplay between the characters was going to be a little more diverse, but it seems like each character just has a gun.
Yeah.
And then melee attacks.
Yeah.
And then jets around in their own unique, colorful way.
Yeah.
So they all do the same fucking thing. What's the point of having the entire Suicide Squad if they're not doing unique things?
You know, there's another game that's a little more diverse that is completely free to play, where you have melee and you have gun and you very fancily have like mobility where you can jump around or dash around or jetpack around, and it's called Warframe. That's been out
here
since
we go.
2013.
Warframe Mark over here.
Okay. While I have been playing that game on and off since it came out, the gameplay similarities between this and that, when you can barely tell the difference between the characters that you'd be picking, there is a problem.
Yeah, I'm worried about the gameplay for sure. To your point,
I mean,
but the thing that encourages me is
if you're here for the goddamn story.
I really enjoy the story beats in the trailer beats. I'm kind of down for that. The boss battles.
It was mostly the Flash.
And Wonder Woman and Batman.
Okay.
With a Kevin Conroy shout out.
Okay. Batman, you saw his face.
What more do you need?
God damn it.
It's Batman.
Superman, you saw his face.
Uh-huh.
Wonder Woman, you got to listen to her be the only one who wasn't taken by fucking Bizarro for some fucking reason.
Brainiac.
At this point, Fucking. God damn it.
Don't flip the table. I just cleaned it.
Just listen to me for a second here. Why, in a game that we've already called Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, did we need a trailer where one superhero says to another superhero, we have to die to save the world? We already know what the name of the game is.
Kill the Justice League.
Kill the Justice League. Instead of giving us a different superhero to talk, instead of listening to fucking The Flash all the goddamn time.
Yeah, I will say I enjoyed the last set of trailers a lot more than this trailer, especially for the story beats, because it was funnier. Like, they had this unconscious Flash, Boomerang's talking shit to him while he's unconscious and accidentally cuts off his finger, and just
at this point,
it was fun.
At this point, much like Captain Boomerang, I prefer the Flash unconscious.
Fuck off, Ezra Miller. I swear to God, if this battle pass is just like the Flash movie promo shit, have the Flash be Ezra Miller. I'll be like, fuck yeah, I'll kill Ezra Miller. Hell yeah.
Perfect marketing.
Let's do it. Sold. Take my money.
I heard you wouldn't.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna wait for reviews on this. But
yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic because of who's making it. However, they did take 10 years to make this game. So, there's concerns.
Okay. There is no goddamn way they took 10 years.
They took 10 years.
They have hinted that they were going to make this game. They probably started actual development 3 years ago.
10 years.
There was no goddamn way.
10 years.
That is financially untenable.
Tell that to Square Enix.
Oh, god damn it.
Please. That is not financially untenable for a video game company.
I'll tell that to Square Enix because you know good and goddamn well they already have several games that come out in the middle of the one game that you actually want.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Rocksteady. Name me one Rocksteady game. And not Rockstar, because people tend to get that confused. Yeah. Name me one Rocksteady game that's come out between Arkham Knight?
Yeah,
in this one.
They got Batman Return to Arkham. They got Batman the Remastered Collection.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
That's what they've been doing.
Get the fuck out of here.
You're welcome.
God. Okay.
Do you like tanks?
Did they make World of Tanks?
There's more tanks.
There's more tanks?
There's more tanks.
In Batman World of Tanks?
In Suicide Squad World of Tanks.
Oh. You know what that is, right?
Cost saving.
No, it's more shoot the purple.
Yeah, it is more shoot the purple, but also cost saving. They're literally identical to the tanks in,
oh my God.
in Arkham Knight.
They're reusing assets.
With purple orbs on them.
Why do the faces look like they belong in Injustice 2?
Injustice 2 is great.
Injustice 2
that's a compliment.
Is great for last gen.
How dare you, sir?
How dare I? How dare you?
We've got more news to cover.
We do. This game, Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, while pretty, that is not a day one.
Probably not. We'll see.
Wait for reviews.
Yep. Next up on the Sony State of Play event news, Street Fighter 6 received a new trailer where we got to see Zangief, Lily, who's a new character, and a newly designed Cammy. What'd you think of this?
That's a day one. For Cammy alone, that's a day one.
It looks pretty dope. Can't lie.
That last pose that she did at the end of that fight is almost entirely because her classic costume is coming.
Did you, I can't remember. She did this kind of reverse, headlock That's
from the fucking animated
Yeah,
movie?
yes.
Yeah, everyone said, like, oh, they
took
did the
it-
animated movie
they
thing!
took it directly out of the movie. I love
We
it.
waited till Street Fighter fucking 6 to pull this move.
Yeah. What'd you think of Lily, the new character? She's kind of this pseudo Native American character. She fights with clubs, which is weird for a Street Fighter game.
Her entire aesthetic reminds me of Talum from Soul Calibur.
Okay.
It's very, like, kind of tiny, petite child who's fighting a bunch of adults when they have no goddamn business doing so. This is... Lily is a character all about the adorable vibe.
Yeah. I mean, Japan's gonna be creepy.
I don't know who lets their child enter a fucking adult fighting tournament. But, hey.
She can handle herself, all right?
Apparently.
I believe in Lily.
She's the only one using fucking, like, club weapons.
That's why. Why don't you pick up a stick? Yeah. Just we'll give you a handicap. Just see that stick over there. Just pick it up. Use that.
It's like I knew exactly what the idea behind her was the second they showed the super finisher, where it's like she does like the super like wind up flip and then doesn't realize that the momentum's gonna keep her going and she just falls very goofily.
Yeah,
on top of her opponent.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, this is just goofball fun.
Yep.
And then Zangief.
Classic.
Zangief's looking a little more thick.
Hey, that's what he's about.
I mean, in every other game that he's been in, he has been ripped jacked, like sauced to the goddamn gills. This time, he looks like he's like an actual, like, power lifter.
Hey.
A power lifter who's actually got
moving up.
The beginnings of a gut going on.
Hey, you're looking big. Looking swole.
Looking thick.
Trying to be like you, Zangief.
He's got a very solid, very stable core.
We're very body positive here, okay?
There should be like things that separate or make characters like special, like things that some characters can get away with that others can't. Zangief should be the one character where he can grab you, but none of you can grab him.
Yeah, like a Solomon Grundy type of deal.
Yeah, like, there's no grabbing that. What are you, nuts?
Anything else to take from that?
I want it. The game cannot be here soon enough.
Don't worry. We'll be talking more about fighting games very soon.
Oh, yeah, we will.
Next up, we got a Baldur's Gate gameplay trailer. Looks pretty great if you are into those old top-down, dungeon crawling adventure games.
Inspired by Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Looks great.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it. Probably won't get around to it for a while. I'm still behind on a lot of my top-down dungeon crawlers, and they're just very time-consuming. So I'll get to it eventually, I'm sure. But it will be released on August 31st, so we will be getting it a lot sooner than we thought. We did receive a new Resident Evil 4 remake trailer confirming that Mercenaries mode will be returning. What'd you think?
With Mercenaries mode alone, I am sold. This is them, like, finally fixing something that they got wrong with number 3, the thing that they left out. Like, where Mercenaries mode originally came from was Resident Evil 3. They perfected it in Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
But knowing that that's there now, along with basically them confirming that we're getting way more Lewis this time around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it.
Nice. Yeah, it looks great. I think they're doing a great job in general with all these remakes with Resident Evil.
Also, Krauser. Krauser, we finally got confirmation that he's back.
He's back, boy.
We can finally get that knife fight that we've all wanted.
Yeah, looks great. They're doing a great job over there. I don't know if there's been an official release date, but it should be fairly soon, right?
That should be
This year.
next month.
Yeah,
Actually.
Yeah, so look forward to that. For you Destiny people, Destiny 2 Lightfall received a trailer for the upcoming expansion. Did you care?
I mean, I saw a man unaffected by floating through space with smoke coming out of his head. I was intrigued, but then I remembered this was Destiny.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people love Destiny, and I'm sure Destiny 2 is even better. I played the first Destiny, just could not get into it.
Yeah.
Gameplay felt good, but just like it just felt too shallow, and I just really didn't enjoy it. So
there is a depth that is missing from those game mechanics. It's very simple, like get more powerful gun, shoot more powerful gun at more powerful enemy.
Yep.
And
spam
occasionally
special move.
Yeah, spam special move.
So look forward to that if you're a fan of Destiny 2. We did get a lot of PSVR trailers and kind of glimpses at what's coming in the future of PSVR 2. PSVR 2 is coming out. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but it's coming out very soon. It's supposed to be out before the end of the month. It's getting really great reviews from everywhere I'm seeing. It's getting 9s, 9.5s from basically everybody as far as an infrastructure. I think the problem is that it's just so expensive. It's $550, and you need a $500 PS5 to play it.
Right. It's
Unlike,
not like a separate module like the first PSVR.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at its competitors, is the Oculus 2, which you don't really need a computer to use. It's housed inside. You don't have to use a wire. It's just not as powerful. It plays much simpler
no longer
games.
The Oculus. It is now the Meta.
Fuck off. This whole Meta rebranding is terrible. Just the worst. But the Meta 2.
I'm trying, Zuck. I'm trying real hard.
Yeah, more like Zuckerberg over here. This terrible VR world ideas that he's trying to force everybody into, the metaverse
that he's 10 years behind on.
It's so bad. All that's set aside, they do have like the Quest Pro or whatever that's like $1,400 if you want to go all out and be ballin', or you could get this for $550 and be just as ballin' with better haptics, better sound design. The downside is that you still have to have a cable plugged into your PS5, but the trade-off is that it gives you a ton of more processing power. It does focal adjustment, so instead of having to render everything immediately in front of you, it tracks your eyes and renders whatever you're looking at perfectly, and then everything in the periphery a little bit less. So it takes a lot of the strain off of the processing system, which is a great idea for making it more seamless and smooth. Has a much higher refresh rate than the original PSVR. No longer uses the stupid light camera
the
system.
PlayStation Move control.
Yeah, they use modern feedback systems that basically all the VR systems are using now, with actual dimensional tracking and everything like that. It legitimately looks great, and if I had a lot of time and the money, I would definitely want one. One of the things I was surprised about in this demo, as we know, there's no backwards compatibility with PSVR because of the stupid light tracking system that they used. However, a ton of games are adding PSVR 2 capability in the game, specifically like first-person games like Gran Turismo 7. You can play the game normally on your TV, or if you want to go that extra step, you can put on your VR headset and play first-person driving the car in VR in Gran Turismo 7, which is a beautifully, highly polished racing game. There's a bunch of other games, like adventure games and stuff, that are doing this. No Man's Sky
shit.
Is going to let you play, which is what I've been wanting for so long, is VR No Man's Sky.
The game that has only ever been getting better since its terrible first release.
You're talking about Warframe. We got No Man's Sky over here just killing it.
Yeah.
After that horrendous beginning. Yeah. They're doing great things. So, and a ton of companies are already committing, including all the Resident Evil games. Resident Evil 7, that was the last one, right?
8.
8, the one with the
Resident
big
Evil Village.
Yeah, that's the one with the big vampire lady.
Everyone's favorite.
Oh yeah, Dami Mommy. So you can now be first person in VR with Dami Mommy. On the PSVR
everyone's
2.
favorite modded weapon, the fly swatter.
Saucy. But yeah, all that stuff is going to get PSVR 2 integration. So I would imagine that every big first person adventure game, or every game that can be played in first person, is probably going to have some kind of adaptation for PSVR 2, which is awesome. That is what I've been wanting for VR all this time. Is just put a first person camera on it, let me do it in VR.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. And because they finally have high enough rendering rates, because they have focal adjustment, because they have 3D audio, because they have high accuracy, colorful OLED for the screen that renders at extremely high frame rates, you no longer have like the motion sickness issues that a lot of people were having. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So now, instead of doing like the point-to-point thing that a lot of VR games were trying to do or forcing you to do, now you can just walk. You can just walk.
Yeah.
You can just drive.
With the controls being as sophisticated as they are, increasingly so, I foresee a lot more gameplay in VR that's much more closely resembling what we have now for like regular like third-person games.
Yeah.
Where mobility is, it's easy, it's quick, it's fast, it's intuitive more than anything else.
Yeah.
This, as it progresses, is going to only get more and more exciting. So I am curious to see, like, since this is just coming out, where this is going to go, because there's a lot of possibilities here.
Yeah. I think I'm a little disappointed on the price point, though. I get how much technology is in this thing, and they probably don't want to take too much of a loss on the system, because there's not a lot of games to reap that PSVR money back if they take a loss on the system.
They did have the misfortune of releasing this during a recession.
Yeah, developed during COVID and releasing right into the entrance of record high inflation rates and a potential recession on the horizon, because the Fed keeps increasing interest rates. But all that aside, it's really cool, exciting technology. I wish I had more time and money to take advantage of it. I'm afraid that because of the price point in particular, that unlike the PSVR, which is fairly successful because of its affordable price point and accessibility, this will not be quite as successful, because it just became an even more niche thing to have, an even more niche accessory to have.
Yeah.
And there's already rumors going around about a PS5 Pro. So are you really gonna you have to make the decision between taking this extra cost for an accessory that's $550 that could buy you a PS5 Pro in the near future?
I don't see a PS5 Pro coming out for at least another year.
There's rumors. Apparently there's already SKUs in the works.
We'll see.
But yeah, looks awesome. I wish there was more available at launch, because it's not backwards compatible, and that backwards compatibility would have been a huge boon to have that whole exclusive catalog right there at your fingertips already.
I'm almost certain that that's in one way or shape or form being worked on, or there's probably some sort of mandate to work with those companies to try to get those things compatible with the new control scheme.
Yep. We will see.
We'll see.
And then the last thing we saw was a game called Humanity, which is being made by the Tetris Effect people. It kind of looked like a weird Lemmings-like game where you have this dog leading humanity to some kind of goal. I mean, it looked fun, but didn't do much for me.
That's not even the weirdest thing to have been teased about Tetris within like the last month. For those of you who actually have Apple Plus, there is a movie that's going to be coming out soon. A movie about Tetris.
But why? I guess we did have a Pac-Man movie.
We did, but this is not a movie that's like about Tetris the same way the Mario movie is going to be about Mario. This is about basically the behind-the-scenes creation of Tetris done in the style of a Cold War almost spy thriller movie. Because apparently the game and its ties to Russia were a little bit troublesome or problematic, according to this movie.
Is it like a documentary?
No, this is a...
This is the first I'm hearing of this, so I am completely confounded.
Pull it up. Pull it up right now.
All right, Jamie, pull it up.
Yes, our totally real editor named Jamie.
I wish we had an editor so desperately. It would save me so much sleep.
We could do with one.
Tetris movie.
My favorite part
I'm
is
intrigued.
when the music changed.
All right. Moving on.
Moving on. Thank you, Tetris.
The more I know.
The more you know.
Next up on the news, Metro Prime Remastered has also come out and is being very well reviewed. Have you played it? Are you interested in playing it? Did you play the original?
I didn't. I'm not, and I won't.
I think that's generally the reason why you haven't seen Metroid games coming out for so long, because no one buys them.
Well, first person. Why are they first person? I bought a Nintendo Switch so that I could play Metroid Dread, because that is a Metroid game.
So what you're saying is you're an old fuddy-duddy.
How dare you, sir? How fucking dare...
The future is now, old man.
If you want a fucking first-person shooter game...
And by future, I mean a 20-year-old game.
Why don't you fucking play fucking Call of Duty?
I will!
Why don't you fucking play Halo?
I will!
Fucking go to your room.
I don't want it.
Go to your room.
This is my house.
Too bad.
Oh. Yeah, so I'm happy for all the people that have been asking for some form of Metroid Prime for so long. I was always intrigued when it was on GameCube and stuff like that, but I didn't own a GameCube, so I never played it. So there you go.
Didn't own a GameCube.
Nope. I had some friends that had a GameCube, so played Smash and stuff like that, but that was about it.
How did you play Resident Evil 4?
PlayStation 2.
Oh. Yeah, that was the thing. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up on the news, NetherRealm Studios has announced Mortal Kombat 12 is coming this year.
What?
In the weirdest way possible. It was announced unexpectedly during a stockholder meeting with Warner Brothers Discovery, where they just nonchalantly mentioned that Mortal Kombat 12 is coming this year and will boost revenue.
Why does this sound like a quick? You got to come up with something to make sure that they don't sell off our fucking studio.
Yeah.
Like Mortal Kombat 12
This year.
Yeah,
it's
Wait,
real.
this is like, do you have trailers or shots or stills or anything? Soon. I
Yeah.
promise we'll have it.
Yeah, I can't remember which creator it was. I think it was Ed Boon. He said on Twitter, so how about that Injustice 3 news? Yeah. So
it's like, oh no, we can't make another Injustice because we're waiting on James Gunn.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny and cute, but yeah, this is the weirdest way that a game has been announced to the public.
Fucking funny and cute. That's so demeaning. Like this is a real serious announcement that we're making. That's totally not what we're basically doing to keep our studio like up and running.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Like most people, they use a teaser trailer or an actual trailer, especially if it's the same year. Now, this isn't like unheard of for NetherRealm Studios. They do often announce things right before they're about to come out, usually like 4 or 5 months ahead of time. But what's weird is something that's going to come up later in the news is that it's coming out this year and it's not going to be featured at EVO.
What?
Yeah, they're featuring Mortal Kombat 11 at EVO this year. So totally confounding. I don't understand what they're thinking. So
here's the thing that chaps my ass about that. The story for Mortal Kombat 12, or not the story for Mortal Kombat 12, Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat 11 told a story in which they basically used time travel in order to like bring all of these fucking characters together and meet past and future versions of themselves. And then by the end of the narrative, the guy who had been the main, because we couldn't get the rights to Jean-Claude Van Damme back in the day, Liu Kang, second stringer, he became a god at the end and saved the world at the end and like fixed the timeline at the end. Where the fuck do you go from there?
I don't know. I've been saying that about the past 2 Mortal Kombat games. Like, okay, that was pretty final. Like, where are you planning on going now? Yeah.
What the?
I'm just annoyed that there's no Injustice 3. Where's my Injustice 3, goddammit?
We're coming up with a new gear system.
They No. No gear loot box systems. No stat boost bullshit in my multiplayer games. I don't need a ranked match decided by what armor I got out of a random loot box. Yeah.
Look, either you got it or you don't. Fucking, it step your shit up.
Oh, and by the way, no Nightwing. Because they killed him by having Damien throw a stick at his head. He passes out and hits his head on a rock.
Correction.
His neck.
Damien threw a rock at his head, by which Nightwing broke his neck on another rock.
Was it a rock? I was pretty sure it was an Eskrima stick.
Oh, no. No, the Eskrima sticks were firmly in his back shoulder sling things. It was like, this is him just like throwing a rock, and he says like he always catches it. It was an accident.
Jeff Johns hates Nightwing. He has tried to kill Nightwing so many times in so many forms when he was head of creative. Jeff Johns hates the character of Dick Grayson Nightwing. He hates him. He tried to kill him in Forever Evil. He tried to kill him in Dark Knights. He hates Nightwing. And now that he's not in charge anymore, suddenly Nightwing's everywhere. Coincidence? I think not! Fuck!
People don't want better Batman. They don't want to see all the time that they've invested in Batman look stupid because there's a better Batman right there.
He's right there.
He's right there.
He's so charming.
He is literally everything that people think Batman is. Or think Batman should be by now. But no, Batman's over here is like, I'm dark and brooding.
But no,
forever.
Let's put him in what is literally called the murder machine and have him fuck gorillas. Thanks, Jeff Johns. You fuck. My favorite character, just never, no damn respect.
Fuck Nightwing. I like Hal Jordan.
He's one of the most popular comics in their company. Gets voted #1 most requested character for the new DCU, and I guarantee you they're gonna fuck him up. They're gonna try to kill him or ignore his existence altogether. They're gonna end up doing what they did in the Harley Quinn show, where they just make him
look fucking like a bitch.
It was kind of funny though, I have to admit. That whole show's great.
You're gonna admit that one?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Don't get mad when that's the direction they take them.
Don't give them ideas. Moving on. Avalanche Games has announced that there is no planned DLC in development for the new Hogwarts Legacy game, which is taking over everything right now. Very popular. Obviously, a big success for them. There was a lot of fears, obviously, because of the author's connection to the material. But I'm happy. I'm happy for the studio. I'm happy for the creators that they're seeing so much success. But that being said, the fact that there is no Quidditch in this fucking game, and they're saying there's no DLC that could potentially bring Quidditch to this fucking game, is bullshit. It's bullshit. Where is fucking Quidditch? It was the most fun part of all the old games. Why is it not in this game?
I think the real Quidditch was the friends we made along the way.
Fuck off! Give me my Quidditch. I need to be able to play all the positions. Lead my team to victory.
You want sports in your fucking Magical Boy game?
I do.
Too bad.
I also want Blitzball in my Final Fantasy games.
How dare you?
Blitzball's great.
How? Get out.
It's my house.
I don't care.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
You're not going to get it, man.
Yeah.
They barely pulled that game off. You think they're going to get fucking Quidditch to work?
So
like half of that game or half of that game's significance is showing off how skilled Harry Potter is at finding a tiny little ball inside what's basically the equivalent of... Do not speak the deep magics to me, witch. I was there when they were written.
Yeah. Have you seen much of the game in gameplay, or have you played it or anything?
I've seen more about people seeing the game than I have of the game itself.
Yeah.
I know you can take to a broom and fly and cast spells, and that's
but
about
you
it.
can't play Quidditch. You got the mechanics in the field, in the game, but you can't play the game. Oh, and by the way, the narrative reason is that in the year prior to your arrival, Somebody got hurt in the Quidditch match, and so they are taking the year off of Quidditch so that they can evaluate their safety measures.
They came up with a narrative reason why they can't do that fucking feature.
Yeah, they fucking did. Yes. Yeah, I'm frustrated.
Talk about carrot dangled.
I'm sure the game, by all accounts, the game is amazing and everything people were looking forward to. But why would you not include such an essential part of the franchise? Meanwhile, you're able to poach magical animals and shit and create a little zoo for yourself, but you can't play Quidditch.
Okay, I want you to imagine a game in which, in like 3D space where you can fly around and shit, you have 2 balls that are in play. The big one that's typical for, like, in the movie for everyone to mess with, and the tiny one that the people assigned to that special position are supposed to fucking go after, and, like, if you get that fucking tiny little thing, you win the game.
Well, most.
Do you know what that game would devolve into? That's not Quidditch, that's Find the Snitch.
Well, if you score with your bowlers enough,
I swear to God,
the snitch will not win you the game.
Fucking try to tell me.
If you run out of time without capturing the snitch,
try to tell me
then you definitely
that
will lose the game.
Would not devolve into literally every player on the map going after that goddamn tiny little ball.
No, because there's beaters.
I swear to God.
And beaters would beat the shit out of everybody.
Get the fuck out of here.
The game is awesome. There's already a Quidditch game on PS2. It's already been done and laid out for you. We can do this.
They're not going to do it.
We can do this.
They're not going to do it.
It's been done. You just have to copy, paste, and upres.
You know that is not how companies operate. Otherwise, there would be a lot better games that would be out right now.
Now, I will say this. The game was developed by the team that built the mobile game.
So this is their first big thing.
This is their first big thing. So I'm a little bit more lenient. But how can you justify competing for a house cup when none of the points are coming from Quidditch wins? I rest my case. All right. We mentioned fighting games and we mentioned Evo. Why not jump to that now? Evo 2023 has announced its lineup and a few other surprising things. Street Fighter 6 will be kind of the headliner, and it will also have the largest prize pool, the first time, $1 million for the Street Fighter 6 tournament, so that's cool. They're also bringing back Dragon Ball FighterZ Tekken 7, which is another new and upcoming fresh game, so that should be exciting. We'll probably have a large pool. They're bringing back Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Holy shit.
This one's weird, and I don't understand why this one's included and some other games are not included. Melty Blood Type Lumina.
That's the first I've heard of that one.
What the fuck is this? And why is it in the tournament?
Fucking pull it up.
Melty Blood Type Lumina.
Sometimes
Melty?
Sometimes Japan, you crazy.
Melty Blood Type Lumina. Even Google's like, I'm not going to autocorrect this. What the fuck are you typing?
Like, I don't know what you're looking for. You sure you have safe search on?
There it goes. We just got bad Wi-Fi signal down here. We are deep in the recesses of the basement.
Down deep in the dark.
Where they threw the build for Quidditch. All right, so it looks like a cheap, goofy anime fighter. For Nintendo Switch. Which makes my point even more confusing. Because there's no Smash. There's no Smash in the tournament. But there's Melty Blood type Lumina.
Well, Smash isn't in this tournament because, well, Nintendo hates their players.
Oh, clearly, they brought Melty Blood type Lumina.
Right, and not licensed fucking Nintendo first party game. Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah. The other titles in the listing are, of course, as we mentioned, Mortal Kombat 11, King of Fighters 15, and Guilty Gear Strive. So, no Blaze Blue, no Smash Brothers, no Injustice.
I would much rather have Guilty Gear.
I mean, Guilty Gear is great, but I wouldn't mind seeing Blaze Blue. But, yeah, a healthy number of games. Definitely more diversity among the games than usual. But there's a lot of titles that I'm just surprised they left out. I'm also surprised that Mortal Kombat 11 is the game that's going to be featured if Mortal Kombat 12 is coming out this year. So, we'll see.
You know Mortal Kombat 12 is not being made this year.
Hey, Warner Brothers Discovery's stockholder meeting said so, okay? I invested a lot of money in Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, someone's going to lose their job when they have to finally admit that they just said this shit on a fucking whim.
Yeah, pretty bad. But like I said, the Street Fighter 6 will be featuring a $1 million prize pool, which is super impressive, really great, very desirable. Love seeing the tournament grow. And nice thing, Sony announced that all the minimum prize pool will be $25,000 for each one. So before, some of the prize pools were pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider the amount of effort that goes into like mastering these systems for the high level players.
Yeah.
But now, hey, you got a minimum pool of $25,000 for even Melty Blood type Lumina.
Incredible.
All games will be played on the PS4 systems, of course, because Sony purchased the Evo tournament back in 2021. So cool to see. I'm not sure why we're going to use old PS4 systems for some of these games.
Street Fighter 6?
Why wouldn't you use a PS5 or a modern console? I don't understand that part. But as always, it'll be in Las Vegas and it will be featured at the beginning of August. All right. Well, that wraps up all the news for today. So let's go ahead and jump into our prestigious, nay, life-changing award of comic cover of the week. This week, Marvel is the big winner with Ghost Rider number 12, the standard copy. No,
Danny Ketch's back.
He sure is.
In all of his fucking fiery, spiky glory.
Hey, that design is badass.
You goddamn right. It's so good, Nick Cage stole it for Johnny.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I mean, this cover is just, it's fun. It's exciting. The use of color to create the illusion of light and darkness is just done so skillfully, so great. I should mention the cover illustrator, of course, Bjorn Behrens, who I believe has won a few times before. This cover is just great. It's fun. There's nothing too show offy about it, but it's just excellent from top to bottom. It's fun. If I saw this on my wall, it would absolutely catch my eye. It's absolutely going to catch eyes on the store shelves.
Yeah, when your cover is good enough to be a poster all on its own, you won.
Yeah,
straight up.
You nailed it. So
this is, for lack of a better phrase, fucking sharp.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just looks awesome. Just the contrast alone, the color, it just looks great, and it's great to see the old design back. I'm really thankful that they went that route and didn't try to muddy it up for modern audiences too much.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's also just good to see Ghost Rider at like an issue 12.
Yeah.
And like saying
Not
like,
canceled yet.
Hey, guess what? Not only are we going to keep going, but your favorite's back.
And hey, anything that is not Ghost Rider in space or Venom Ghost Rider, I'm all about. Get rid of that shit. Just give me my Earth-based Ghost Rider, please.
Right.
So,
dealing out only the most fiery Judeo-Christian justice.
Oh man, my chair couldn't take it. Yeah, looks awesome, sounds awesome. As always, let's jump into the description so you can go to your local comic book shops.
Again, please support your local comic book shops.
And pick up this book and determine whether the content matched the drapes. Blood Brothers, Danny catches back as this new highway-melting chapter of Ghost Rider kicks into gear, so get ready for one hell of a reunion. Both he and Johnny have changed significantly, and they'll hardly recognize one another as their paths converge to war. Sounds great. I'm excited.
I wonder how much of his the last run that I saw him in, he was basically acting as a stooge for a renegade angel. He's basically just trying to so there were like a whole bunch of meme forms of like the spirits of vengeance that represented like vengeance spirits for a number of different like spiritual beliefs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Danny, once upon a time, maybe like 10 to 15 years ago, was so addicted to his own power that he nearly killed himself, lighting himself on fire because he's like, that's how you become Ghost Rider, right? You just you light yourself on fire and hope that you don't die immediately.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Have you seen that comic where this guy is like trying to become Aquaman? And he gets attacked by a shark and struck by lightning at the same time. And then the last panel is just, he became a corpse.
It's weird realizing that Danny, after actually having that power, lost it and nearly went that silly ass route in order to try to get it back.
Yeah.
Fortunately or unfortunately, he got his powers back, but they came back a little different. They came back blue instead of like the classic like red flame.
Yeah.
And his powers were not only on a time limit, they were on a time limit dictated by like how long has it been since his last other Ghost Rider that he basically drained of power.
If your penance stare lasts more than 4 hours, please call a doctor.
It was like, I think my favorite panel of that run, which I think was called Heaven Sent and Hellbound. There is a panel where Johnny and Danny are basically penance staring each other. It's like, and the thing is, where you would think they would be immune, it affects them both.
Yeah, it's kind of like Naruto with the Sharingan.
Yeah.
They just put each other in genjutsus, and so they're just Sasuke and Itachi are just looking at each other the whole time. And their minds are like fighting and torturing each other, but in reality they're just staring at each other.
And I'm sure there'd be someone on the sidelines going, are they going to do something?
There was. There was. Yeah.
Was it Naruto himself?
No,
that's a shame.
There's this goofy Akatsuki like clone thing.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there watching, taking notes, and he's like, what are they doing?
Are they gonna get started? They're just looking at each other.
By the way,
menacingly.
One thing I don't mention on the show very often that I am doing quite often is keeping up with Boruto, which is the sequel featuring the child of Naruto and Sasuke.
How much of that has to do with you having a child?
None. I'm just loyal to the characters because I love the Japanese version of Naruto and Naruto Shippuden so much. Holy fuck, Boruto's bad. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad.
I was waiting for you to say it.
But I just keep forcing myself to watch it because I'm like, something's going to happen. Like
Something's going to change.
They're going to let the old characters shine and do something because these kids can't hold the fucking show. They're so fucking cringe and terrible. I hate it. I hate it. He should have got a vasectomy. These kids are terrible. I hate this show.
Oh
the animation's real bad too. They're really phoning in the animation. It's so much worse. It's funny because they'll have like one big episode where a big boss fight, stereotypical stuff happens from anime. And they'll spend the entire budget on that one episode, and then the rest is just garbage, just dog shit quality. It's so bad. Okay, rant over.
Watch Demon Slayer instead.
It's pretty. They also cry for 20 minutes an episode for no goddamn reason. We're watching my brother Dan the Man. He really loves Demon Slayer, and we went to see the movie. It was me, Cindy, my wife, and his wife Yuan, and the whole second half of that movie is just them crying over this dude they met 15 minutes ago. Why?
Okay, that's not the second half. That's like the last.
It's literally, I timed it. It's like 22 minutes of them mourning this dude they met 15 minutes ago on a train.
Have you never met someone who's affected you so deeply and given you so much hope?
You know what he did the whole movie up until the very end? Nothing. Oh, I was keeping the other 7 cars alive while I sent these 2 children that fucking suck at their job to go fight the big baddie. Why wouldn't you fight the big baddie and solve the problem immediately?
Because this isn't his show.
Oh, and by the way, then we have the real villain come out of the woods randomly because this train just happened to stop right where this guy was going to come out of the woods randomly and decide to kill this guy.
Okay, for the real story, what you want to do is you want to tune into the actual second season where they actually explain all of this.
Yeah, they had to fucking retcon it. They're like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, the whole thing's dumb. It's dumb fun. It's pretty fun. They spend way too much on the animation budget, which is why they almost bankrupted themselves. and they almost didn't have a second season until fan demand came in. But
hey,
it's fine.
Man.
It's fine. It's an anime.
Let us be pretty this one time.
It's pretty and dumb. Hey, sometimes that's all you want. Just look at half the comic books that come out every week. Red Sonja, I'm looking at you. Vampirella, Barbarella. I'm sure there's more Rellas. Lady Death.
See, anytime I think of Barbarella, I think of that fucking song by Jamiroquai.
I don't want to listen to Jamiroquai.
Oh, come on.
No, thank you.
Oh, come on. Just one time.
No.
Come on.
No, thank you.
Cosmic Girl one time.
Pass! All right. I'm worked up. I'm tired.
Yep.
Let's go party.
Party?
Party.
Party, party, party.
All right, moving on. As always, thank you for watching, listening. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you're on the YouTube channel. And if you're listening, give us a nice review, comment. And if you have anything constructive to add, please let us know what we can do better to improve the show for you and make it more convenient to watch, listen to. If there's any streaming apps or anything out there that you don't find us on, let us know. We'll get on there in a jiffy. You can find us on Podbean, on Spotify, on Stitcher, on Apple podcast services and music. Of course, like I said, we're on YouTube. You can find Those Natural Ones also on YouTube. So tune in every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No longer on twitch.tv/Those Natural Ones. But you can always subscribe on Twitch with your Amazon Prime membership if you have a Prime membership, or if you're just feeling generous and want to throw a few bucks their way. I'm sure they would very much appreciate it. So shout out to Nick. He's taking his family down to Nick Prime, I should clarify. Nick Marlat's taking his family down to Florida, so that's cool.
Yeah, to Disney World.
Mm-hmm. Giving more money to the mouse.
Look, you got to take the kids somewhere sometimes, man.
Cedar Point exists. I know it's cold.
Sometimes we want to live dangerously and go down to
How old
Florida
are
where
they?
their gators are.
They can get on the Millennium Force now, right?
It was either this or the one in Cali, and we're not going to Cali.
No. Thank you for watching this. Oh.
I was going to say, it is weird how Disneyland and Disney World are in, like, the two, like, dangerous states that are, like, dangerous for different reasons.
Yeah, an alligator will jump out of a pond and eat your child.
The other one, you might just get jumped.
Yeah, by a weird homeless heroin addicted person. There you go. Is there anything else we need to promote that I am forgetting? Look forward to Babby's first D&D. I will upload that in the near future. You're probably watching this a very short while after the previous episode, which was 2 weeks ago. So definitely give that a watch. It was really fun having Nick number 2 on the show, and you'll probably see more of him in the near future, assuming one seat is empty. I'm sure he will be on the show. He's going to be on the show today, but unfortunately he got a little ill this morning, so best wishes to him. Hope he feels better, especially by Monday. We need him.
For sure.
Who else is going to kill all the monsters after I revive them? I sure won't. With my 4s. So thank you for watching and listening. Really love you guys out there. And we really appreciate your love and support. So we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Oh my God, Cammy did the move from the movie. Can you... Number 6?
Amazing.
We wait till number 6 to do that move?
I'm so in.
Oh my God, day 1.
Hey, Guile's in it.
Giles in it.
I thought he wasn't in it. He's in it.
He's in it.
He's in it.
And he has a fucking, like, actual, like, aviator flight suit.
I love it.
I'm fucking here for it.
See you next week. Goodbye. All right.
Who are you? Who?
Over enunciate the H.
How long have you been holding it? You can't even remember.
Probably an hour. We're doing the cover of the week, and I could feel like the pain and the pressure. I was like, "Fuck, I gotta go so bad." Stop talking about his blue flames. I gotta go.